know, trying to assess the outing, I felt really good. I felt like I was commanding the ball really well. And, I look at that outing there in the fifth inning, and I got, an infield single, executed a pitch on 0-2, single. Bohm fights me on a tough at bat, ended up walking him. Same thing for McCutchen. Made a few good pitches, fouled me off, walked him, and then made a bad pitch to Hoskins. I mean, it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating for me. So, I'm just, I don't know, trying to stay positive, trying to take the positives out of it. I just got to execute better. I got to give the team a better chance to win. It's just, it's unacceptable.
What is the challenge of trying to stay positive when you felt the way that you felt and you executed the way that you executed for much of the night, and then the result is still what it is? How difficult is it to try and just take the positives out of it and move forward?
It's very difficult. When you have results like this, a few outings in a row, in your head, you're like, I got to change something. Something's got to be different. And so, that's the battle for me. But I really do think I improved a lot on my stuff today, commanding the ball. Like I said, that fifth inning, I made 2 good pitches and then 2 base hits, and then two hard fought at bats by those 2 guys. They drew a walk, and then, it's really frustrating. It is tough in your head. You want to go back and I got to do something different. But, ultimately I got to just try to, find the stuff that I did well and just build off that.
What did you do well, and what did you do differently? You looked like you were approaching the game differently tonight than in the past. You looked a little more deliberate with what you were trying to do, and obviously seemed to be throwing more breaking pitches and off speed than we've seen in the past. What was that game plan? What was the week like leading up into this start that you were going to try and do differently?
I just want to slow my tempo down a little bit, slow the tempo down, and, establish that down and away fastball, which I feel like I did. Even some of those pitches that were balls, they were just missing early on. And I was even throwing my fastball in like I wanted to. And so, that was the big thing. It's just moving that fastball around and working off that with my changeup. And, that's the type of stuff that, just have a good game plan, not just, run through everything, think about, what I want to try to do with the ball and with each hitter. And I feel like I was able to do that today, honestly.
Next question comes from Justin Toscano.
Hey, Steven, you've talked about in the past how when you kind of run into trouble, you might start to speed up a little bit and can't take a step back. Do you feel like that happened tonight, or do you feel like you were able to still slow down during that 5th inning?
I do feel like I was able to slow down. Like I said, those 2 back-to-back walks, I felt like I just missed a little bit on those 2 walks. And they gave me hard at bats. They fought in there, fouled me off, and I still feel like I executed the pitches. I missed them by a little bit. It wasn't horrible misses. And then the one pitch really, which the worst one, was that fastball up to Reese. I was trying to go in and I just left it up. But other than that, I didn't feel like I was fighting myself. I felt like my tempo was good.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Ed Coleman.
Hey, Steve. It looked like, where Nito was setting up tonight, that you were hitting your spots a lot better than the previous 2 starts. Do you feel your command was a lot better tonight?
I do. I didn't miss my off speed up in the zone too much. Maybe that pitch to Segura wasn't the greatest pitch executed, but I do feel like I was able to command the ball tonight.
Steven, thank you for your time this evening.
Thanks.
Luis, your first question tonight comes from Steve Gelbs.
Luis, what is the challenge as a manager right now when it comes to Steven Matz? He, for most of the night, clearly was better, was executing, and the result is, at the end of the day, pretty similar to what we've seen in the last couple of starts. What is the challenge from your end to try and make sure that he remains in the right headspace and, can find a way through this?
Well, Steve, like you described it, things started pretty well, with him tonight. He had a good feel for his changeup, first at bat of the night against McCutcheon, he kept throwing it, kept making sure it was down. Didn't really have to flash his fastball more, and then he started introducing more his fastball. And one bat pitch to Segura, it was the one run that he gave up early, which was the changeup that stayed up in the zone there, and Segura was able to drive it out of the ballpark. But overall had a good outing until the fifth inning, and then that's when Command started off. A little bit of a luck factor with the infield hit, and then the bloop single to right, and then the walks and then the back-to-back doubles were missing spots. So it's definitely another tough outing for him. At this point, that's how we're looking at it, and this just happened. So we'll see. As a staff, we'll, like we've done in the past, we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk and see what's best for Matz, and what adjustments he can make when he gets the ball again.
You've obviously been around him for a while. He seems tonight to be as frustrated as we've seen him, probably because he felt like he was executing so well. What do you make of where he's at right now from the mental side of things?
Well, he was, the first four innings, he was able to talk and to tell the pitching coach what he was able to do, and he did say about the pitch to Segura, under control, that it was a bad pitch. I thought it was a bad pitch selection, and then he thought as well that he didn't execute it where he wanted it, even though it was a bad pitch selection. The changeup was good down, so he was able to talk and all that. So nothing as far as the emotional part. And after he got removed from the game, and I haven't talked to him yet just to see how he's responded from the outing. But it's a tough outing for him. He's had a few of those, before the start tonight, and then by him just being able to throw the ball better early, and then that inning develop, kind of like build up one thing after the other, and then turn into a 5-run inning. It's just another tough outing, that adding to the other two that he had. So it's just a tough night for him. Definitely we're going to have our conversation that we typically do with players that have tough nights like this. So, that's my take, as the manager. And I know the coaches are going to approach him the same way.
Next question is from Mike Puma.
Louis, realizing you have some significant rotation issues right now and not many places to go, but could the bullpen be an option for Matz at this point?
Mike, right now, we just finished this game, and it was a tough game for Matz. That's something we really don't want to get right now into. We don't want to start talking about it right now. It's just we really want to slow things down now and be able to talk about what's going on and all that. But it's we just finished this game, and it was just another tough outing for him.
Next question comes from Rich Catino.
Louis, when we were watching Steven Matz in summer camp, and you guys talked about that you'd never seen him look better than he looked. Jacob Ram mentioned it. How surprised are you at what he's done so far this year, particularly the last 3 starts?
Yeah, it's the first 2 starts. We're just watching his velo in camp, and the first 2 start, the velo and the changeup feel, and the 2 breaking balls. It's in really good. Everything was clicking. He was executing. He was throwing those pitches where he wanted them. It was more sometimes, like the second game, it was more about pitch selection, where he got hurt. And then the last 2 before this one, it was pitch selection plus execution. So it was the 2 things that kind of like, blended in those 2 outings. And then, tonight we saw that, but for 1 inning, and, it kind of like makes it another tough outing for him, like the last 2. So those are the things that we've seen. The sequences and the execution is kind of like the things that have dictated some of the results that he's gotten in the last 3 outings.
Next question comes from Justin Toscano.
Hey, Louis, from your vantage point, do you think Nola was on another level tonight, or were you disappointed with the at-bats?
I mean, from everything looked from our view in the dugout. I mean, that he had some great movement. He seemed to be tough to hit against. I mean, from the guys' feedback coming back, he had a lot of pitches that were strike to balls and ball to strikes, and as you saw, it almost looked like everything we took was called and everything we swung at was out of the zone. And that's the kind of pitcher he is. He's got movement. He's got the enough below to make that movement be effective and to have the below differential in his pitch repertoire. And he had that going tonight for him.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Tim Healy.
Matz has spoken in the past about during those big innings, what gets him is that he can't slow the game down, and he felt good about his tempo today. As that fifth inning developed, what did you think of his tempo?
That's something that he has haunted him in the past. A little bit of emotion in the middle of the outings. Nothing that I saw today. Obviously, the first 4 innings, like I said earlier, he was able to talk and break down some of the sequences that he used in some, versus some batters. But like you said, in that fifth inning, it's just like one little thing developed after the other. Like a check swing infield hit and a bloop single at the end of the bat, then a walk, fly out of right, then a walk and it kind of like build up. So we need to keep talking about those. I think he's been so much better this season with the emotions in game. And that's what we saw in camp. That's what we saw in the first 2 outings. And I thought I was seeing that today throughout this outing. So it's definitely always something to let him know, give him as a feedback, because he knows it. He knows, but once you're competing in the heat of the game, there's some things like this can happen. And for us as coaches, it's our job to remind the player, that to make that quick adjustment or to be able to control that during the game.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Mike Puma.
We asked you this before the game, and I don't think you had spoken to him, but anything with DeGrom, any sense that he's any better?
Before the end of the night, I got to meet with the performance staff just to make sure where he's at and to know what kind of work he did today, and then we can definitely talk about it. I know he's in a day-to-day treatment, responding and see how he is, with the neck. So something I can definitely get back to you guys tomorrow, or you, Mike, with it, just to see what he did today, what he's able to do tomorrow.
Thank you very much for your time tonight, Luis.
Good night, guys.
Dom, your first question tonight comes from Steve Gelbs.
I know, obviously, team-wide, it was not a good night, but on a personal level, to now hit a home run in 4 consecutive games, what would you describe your feeling being like at the plate right now? How locked in do you feel currently?
Yeah, I still feel I need, some areas to improve. It's just some at-bats when I run in a scoring position where, especially being in the middle of the lineup, I need to be able to get that job done. We had a big situation, had Nola on the ropes, and same thing today. Just chased a couple pitches that, like you said, I have to stay locked in, I have to stay in my zone and don't chase those pitches. So for the most part, I just want to improve, that aspect and try to stay locked in. But when I have pitchers on the rope like that, I got to just be more selective.
Well, in that particular situation, a guy like Nola clearly on his game again tonight, making the pitches that he was able to make. What is the challenge as a hitter? What makes him so difficult in spots like that? And what makes it so hard for you to stay in your zone like you'd like?
I mean, he's really tough because he doesn't give in. And, he makes quality pitches, whether he's behind an account or ahead of the count. And as you guys can see, I mean, he didn't go over the heart of the plate too much, and he got a lot of swings out of the zone. And that's just because he can make his stuff, look like strikes. And, I don't want to take any credit away from him. But, like I said, as a competitor, I have to, lay off some of those set pitches and really force him to come over the middle of the plate. And I didn't do that tonight. And that's why, he got away with the win.
The next question comes from Greg Joyce.
Hey, Dom, after having those 2 early chances in the first 2 innings, could you kind of feel the momentum going out the window as he got settled in and just kind of seemed untouchable there?
I don't want to say the momentum, kind of, settled in for the Phillies. I just want to say for us, we just knew it. We just had to keep grinding him out. We know he's going to be a tough at bat, and we was trying to, get his pitch count up as much as we could. And like I said, we got ahead sometimes, and he made, good pitches, but like I said, we got to lay off those pitches. We can't just give in. And that's what makes him so good, though, because, no matter if he's behind in the count, he makes tough pitches, and he just doesn't give in. And that's why he's one of the better pitchers in this game.
Dom, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.